Hello and welcome to another TBR training video. This video will be covering how to import grades into the self-service grade entry page. So hopefully you've already watched the regular grade entry page. This will not be covering that process. It will only be covering the import process. So as you can see on your screen, I have already navigated to the faculty grade entry page through the normal means in the portal and logging in. So the first step I'm going to take is I'm going to go ahead and select a course that is already in progress. So I'm going to select course 3210 in CRT. As with the other grading functionality, the first thing that will happen is it will display all the students that are registered for that program. As you can see, there are already a couple of students who have grades that have been entered and rolled. So you can see I have a 95 here, and I have an indicator that says I have a green check mark that grade has been rolled to academic history. So in this scenario, I'm going to assume that this course is complete and that all students need to be graded out, or at least have attendance that needs to be noted in the system. So in order to avoid entering the grades manually, I'm going to navigate to the top right and the gear icon at the top, select that icon, and I'll see two options: to export a template and then to import the template. This is going to walk us through both of those steps. I will now select Export Template. I will be presented with a pop-up that gives me a couple of different ways to export this. Please do just use the default .xls that is selected and select Export to drop that file onto your desktop. As you can see, the file has downloaded in an Excel spreadsheet format. I'm going to go ahead and double-click to open this file. The information from the Excel spreadsheet is now displaying, so I've opened this up and you can see it's brought over all of the information from the self-service page. I have my term code, the particular CRN, which just ties directly to the course that's been selected. If you do need any information on the course, you can see at the top, it will have the course number, the 3010, which if you navigate back to your self-service page, you can see that is the 3010 course that I am working with. It will provide me all the student ID, the grades, whether or not they've rolled. And as I scroll over, we can now see that I have a final grade and last attended date, some other fields as well. But really the only thing we do want to enter on this export template is that final grade. I'm going to minimize just so we can get both the student name and the final grade on the same screen. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the exercise of entering in grades for each of these students. Just selecting grades at random, essentially. I'll leave that grade as it was. Obviously, you should be working from your gradebook or wherever else you are tracking grades. I do want to call out that you do have the option to put a continuing grade on a student if that student has attended that class, has hours that they have attended in that class, but have not yet completed it. So for this example, the last two students on the list, I am going to put CONT, which will indicate the continuing grade. A couple of other points here. We do not want to use any decimals, any letters, or any other characters other than a numeric value between 0 and 100. So as you can see, I've entered in all numbers here except for the CONT. Go ahead and save this file to a location where I know I can upload it from. So I'm going to go over to my file, Save As, and make sure I'm saving this to a place that I can easily remember. I have gone ahead and set up a desktop folder for grades for this example, wherever you would like to save these to make sure that it's accurate. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to go ahead and replace this, make sure I have the updated file. So yes, and I've now saved this particular file. So the next step after saving it and remembering where I've saved it to is to navigate back to the self-service page. Once again, I'm going to go up here, and instead of selecting the export template, I'm going to select import. Please do note that you are still in the same course that you are attempting to update. If you do select a different course, you could involuntarily update grades to in the wrong course. So I'm going to go ahead and import this into the 3010. It'll prompt me to browse from where that to where that file is. As you can see, it's remembered. I have it on the desktop grades, and then this is the file that I have just saved after updating the grades. So I'm going to select that file, select the upload button. It takes very little time. I will go ahead and continue. And then I'll be displayed with a preview to make sure that nothing has gone wrong, that I actually have saved all of my updates to the file. As you can see, I have a final grade here. I can see all those grades that I've just entered. So that checks out. That looks like the file that I am trying to actually update. I will select continue. It will do a check to make sure that the spreadsheet or whatever file you're uploading is mapping correctly to the data elements in the system. Because we have used the export template, there's very little that needs to be done here. It's just going to validate that I have all the required information so that this information can be uploaded directly into Banner with no further steps. So I'm going to go ahead and select Continue. And it does do a check. So the validation check here, it will check for errors. Had you entered in a letter grade or any other characters, or had you tried to modify any of these columns with information that didn't match into Banner, you could get error reports here. As you can see, I don't have any error reports. I'm going to upload 12 records. There were 2 records, those 2 grades that were already entered, that will not be imported, and then I have no unchanged records. If I did have any records that had a null value, it would allow you to enter those in and upload them in the system. It just would not make any changes. So I'm going to go ahead and select Continue. So the wizard is now complete. I have now uploaded 12 records without error and saved them in the database. I'm going to go ahead and select Finish. It will navigate me back to my self-service screen. The first thing you'll see here is that 3010 is now completed. So as I select that, just to double check, you can see that all those grades that I entered in through the import process are now in the database and in the system. You could go in and actually change these up until the point the grade rolls. So assuming that I didn't actually mean to put a CONT for Miss Samantha Waller, let's say she actually has no attendance hours in this course, I could still at this point go in, add it to a null value, and save it without any issue. So that concludes the basic process of how to export and then re-import templates for students. Hopefully this will streamline the process, especially at the end of term, of entering in a large number of grades into the system, especially if an individual has more than 14 students. So if you have a large number of students in a grade book that's maintained offline, hopefully this will allow you to streamline your process. Thank you very much for listening to this video, and hopefully you find this useful. Please do check back to our website regularly for additional training videos and additional assistance and documentation on this and other processes. Thank you very much, and best of luck.